For an easy weeknight dinner tonight, we'll be making these delicious lasagna bread boats. To a pot over high heat, let's go ahead and fill it with water and bring that to a boil. While we wait for our water to come to a boil, let's set in a pound of ground beef to a deep pan set over medium-high heat and begin breaking it up. To our beef, we're going to pour in 1 small green bell pepper, diced, half a cup of diced onion, and 2 minced garlic cloves. We'll also be seasoning our beef with some Italian seasoning, ground black pepper, and salt. Then we can go ahead and combine everything well and allow our beef to cook for 10 minutes or until fully cooked through. By this time, our water should be at a boil, so let's salt our water and begin boiling 8 lasagna sheets for 10 minutes. This should be just enough for 2 bread boats. After 10 minutes, our beef should be fully browned, so now we're going to pour in a 24-ounce jar of your favorite pasta sauce. I'll be using this Classico sweet basil. Then we're going to fill our jar with about half a cup of water to get any remaining sauce, then pour that in as well. Give our sauce a quick mix, lower the heat to a medium-low, and allow everything to simmer for 8 minutes. After boiling and draining our pasta, let's microwave 2 tablespoons of butter for 10 seconds, and mix that with 2 cloves of minced garlic and a pinch of fresh parsley. Once mixed, set that aside while we work on our bread. To a loaf of French bread, we're going to cut out a hole for our lasagna sheets, making sure not to cut all the way through, and remove that top. We're then going to hollow out our bread boat, leaving a little layer of bread at the bottom so nothing soaks through. Once we do that, we can lay down a cooked lasagna sheet, followed by a half sheet to cover the rest of our bread, and a couple scoops of our meat sauce. Sprinkle on some shredded mozzarella cheese, and repeat with a second layer. After sprinkling on our mozzarella, we're going to brush on our garlic butter mixture to the outside of our bread, and bake our loaves at 375 degrees for 15 minutes or until toasted and golden brown. After 15 minutes, we're going to remove our boats from the oven, garnish with some fresh parsley for some color, and our lasagna bread boats are done and ready to enjoy. In today's video, we'll be making this delicious shrimp and sausage pasta. To a bowl with a bag of medium raw shrimp, we're going to drizzle in a bit of oil and then season our shrimp with paprika, salt, garlic powder, pepper, onion powder, oregano, cayenne pepper, and thyme. Once seasoned, toss well to combine and set that aside. We're going to bring a pot of water to a boil, salt our water, then boil a 16-ounce box of penne for 10 minutes. While our pasta boils, let's set a large pan over medium heat and begin heating some oil. Once heated, let's add in our shrimp and cook them for a couple of minutes on each side or until pink and fully cooked through. To the same pan, let's just heat a teaspoon of oil. Once heated, we're going to add in some sliced Cajun-style andouille sausage and just heat that through for a couple of minutes on each side. Once browned a bit and heated through, remove them to a plate and set them aside. After we heat up our sausage, let's drop in and melt down 4 tablespoons of butter, then add in and saute 1 slice yellow bell pepper and 1 slice red bell pepper for 4 minutes or until they soften up a bit. After 4 minutes, we're going to stir in 3 minced garlic cloves for about a minute or until they become fragrant. Then we can pour in 2 cups of heavy cream and season with garlic powder, pepper, onion powder, oregano, and paprika. Let's pour in 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, give everything a good mix, and allow our sauce to simmer for 3 minutes or until it thickens up a bit. After 3 minutes, we're going to toss in our pasta along with our cooked shrimp and sausage. Then give everything another good toss to combine, and our shrimp and sausage pasta is ready to serve and enjoy. On tonight's menu, we're having this delicious broccoli cheddar pesto pasta with chicken. We're going to start this recipe off by filling a pot with water and bringing that to a boil. While we wait for our water to come to a boil, we're going to take 1 chicken breast, butterfly it into 2 thin pieces, and drizzle on a teaspoon of olive oil. We're then going to season our chicken with garlic powder, paprika, black pepper, onion powder, and salt. Thoroughly rub on those seasonings, then turn the chicken over and repeat the process. To a large pan, let's begin heating 1 tablespoon of olive oil along with melting down 2 tablespoons of butter. Once our butter melts down, we're going to add in our chicken and allow them to cook for 6 minutes on each side or until they fully cook through. At this point, our pot of water should be at a boil, so let's go ahead and pour in some salt along with a pound of lasagna pasta. Now we allow those to boil for 6 minutes or until al dente. After 6 minutes, our chicken should be cooked through, so now we can remove them to a plate and set them aside. To the same pan, we're going to pour in 1.5 cups of heavy cream, along with 1 cup of sharp cheddar cheese, half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and our seasonings. Let's season our cream with onion powder, paprika, black pepper, and garlic powder. Then we can give everything a good mix until our cheese melts. Once our cheese melts, let's give our sauce a few dashes of Red Devil or whatever other hot sauce you like, and then whisk in half a cup of pesto. Once our sauce thickens up a bit, we're going to add in our boiled pasta along with a 10-ounce bag of steamed broccoli that we're going to roughly chop up. Let's shred our chicken we set aside earlier, then give everything a little toss to make room for our chicken. Add that into our sauce as well, and after a final mix, we're going to top everything with some black pepper, a pinch of fresh parsley, and our broccoli cheddar pesto pasta is ready to serve and enjoy. I made these creamy Tuscan chicken stuffed shells and they came out so good. Let me show you guys how to make them. Let's start by getting our water ready for our pasta. So go ahead and set a pot over high heat and fill it with water. Now just allow that to come to a boil. Here I've got 2 chicken breasts butterflied into 4 thin pieces. Let's drizzle on a couple teaspoons of oil and then season our chicken with salt, ground black pepper, basil, parsley, and oregano. Rub on all of those seasonings thoroughly. Then we're going to repeat the process on the other side of our chicken. Now just set that aside while we heat our pan. So a large pan set over medium-high heat. We're going to drop in 2 tablespoons of butter and then drizzle in 2 tablespoons of the oil from our sun-dried tomatoes. Once our butter is melted and our pan is heated, about 2 minutes, we're going to lay on our chicken and allow them to cook for 7 minutes. By this time, our pot of water should be at a boil. So let's sprinkle in some salt, and we're going to pour in a 12-ounce box of large shells and allow them to boil for 14 minutes. After cooking our chicken for 7 minutes, go ahead and flip them over and cook for another 7 minutes until they fully cook through. Once our chicken is fully cooked through, go ahead and remove them from our pan and set them on a plate to rest. To the same pan, we're going to lower the heat to a medium and begin sauteing 1/4 cup of diced onion for 2 minutes or until they become nice and fragrant. Then we can go ahead and stir in 3 minced garlic cloves for 30 seconds and then 1/4 cup of chopped sun-dried tomatoes. Once our tomatoes are all mixed in with our onion and garlic, let's pour in 2 cups of heavy whipping cream and season that with oregano, parsley, basil, and black pepper. Pour in a cup of Parmesan cheese. Then we're going to give our sauce a good whisk until the cheese melts. Once we do that, we're then going to shred our chicken, scoop it back into our pan, and coat them in our sauce. After combining our chicken and our sauce, let's stir in a handful of spinach until wilted. Now it's time to drain our shells and get ready to assemble. To a baking dish, we're going to spread on some of our sauce. Then we can begin carefully stuffing our cooked shells. And just repeat until we fill our baking dish, making sure to leave some sauce left over for topping. Once we stuff our shells, we're going to top them with the remaining sauce and then sprinkle on a few handfuls of mozzarella cheese. Now just bake our dish uncovered at 415 degrees for 20 minutes or until golden and bubbly. After 20 minutes, remove our dish from the oven, garnish with some chopped fresh basil, and our Tuscan shells are ready to serve and enjoy. For a quick lunch today, we're making this Mexican green spaghetti with chicken. First thing we'll be doing is roasting 3 poblano peppers for 6 minutes on each side or until they get a nice char. After roasting our peppers, we're going to set them in a bag and allow them to sweat for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, let's peel off that char and skin from our peppers. Then we can deseed them and slice them into strips. After slicing our poblano peppers, we're going to salt a pot of boiling water. Then we can boil a 16-ounce box of spaghetti for 10 minutes. While our pasta boils, let's take a blender and add in 1/4 piece of onion, 2 garlic cloves, a small handful of cilantro, our sliced poblano peppers, 4 ounces of cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of sour cream, chicken bouillon, a little salt, black pepper, and a splash of water to help with the blending. Now just blend all of those ingredients well until smooth. Let's set our sauce aside. Then we're going to fill a plate or bowl with 1 cup of plain breadcrumbs and season that with garlic salt, black pepper, paprika, onion powder, chili powder, and garlic powder. Mix that well and set aside. To a separate bowl, pour in 1 cup of all-purpose flour, season that with the same seasonings we used for our breadcrumbs, and combine well. Finally, we're just going to scramble up 2 eggs and heat some oil in a large pan. Once our oil is nice and hot, let's drop in a toothpick to keep our oil from burning and get ready to fry our chicken. We're going to take a thin piece of chicken and coat it in our seasoned flour, shake off the excess, dip it in our eggs, then coat it well with our seasoned breadcrumbs. Allow the chicken to cook for 3 to 4 minutes on each side until nice and golden brown. Once golden, remove them from the oil and set them aside. To a large pan, let's drop in and melt down 2 tablespoons of butter, and once melted, we're going to pour in our sauce and mix in half a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. Allow that to simmer for a couple of minutes before tossing in and fully coating our cooked spaghetti. Once our spaghetti is nice and coated, we're going to plate our pasta, top with our breaded chicken, and a little chopped cilantro. And our Mexican green spaghetti is done and ready to enjoy. Today I'll be showing you guys how to make this creamy pesto gnocchi. To a pan over medium heat, let's begin melting 2 tablespoons of butter. Once our butter is nice and melted, let's stir in 3 minced garlic cloves for about a minute, making sure not to burn them. After a minute, we're going to pour in 1 cup of heavy cream and half a cup of pesto. Now just give our sauce a whisk, and we're going to up our heat a bit and bring everything to a simmer. Once our sauce is at a simmer, we're going to mix in a 16-ounce package of gnocchi, then just cover our pan with the lid and allow everything to simmer for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, let's take the lid off our pan, give our gnocchi a quick mix, and allow everything to simmer uncovered for 2 minutes or until our sauce thickens up a bit. Once our sauce thickens, we're going to pour in half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese and sprinkle in a bit of salt and pepper. Now our creamy pesto gnocchi is ready to serve and enjoy. For an easy weeknight dinner tonight, we'll be making this delicious spaghetti bread boat. To start, we're going to salt a pot of water and allow that to come to a boil. While that boils, take a large pan and add in 1 pound of ground beef. Break that up, then we're going to season our beef with onion powder, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, salt, thyme, and Italian seasoning. Once seasoned, mix that in well. Now we can add in 3 minced garlic cloves, 1/4 of a cup of diced onion, and 1 green bell pepper. Combine well and allow our beef to cook for 8 minutes or until fully cooked through. Once our water comes to a boil, pour in a 16-ounce box of spaghetti and allow it to boil for 10 minutes. Once our ground beef is fully cooked through, we're going to pour in a 45-ounce jar of spaghetti sauce and mix that in well with our beef. We're going to season a bit more with onion powder, garlic powder, and some Italian seasoning, and mix that in well. After mixing in our seasoning, allow to simmer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, strain and pour in our cooked pasta and set aside. Next, grab a loaf of French bread. We're going to cut a hole out of the top of our bread, making sure not to cut all the way through. Remove the top of our bread and hollow out the inside a bit. Make sure to leave a little layer of bread at the bottom so it doesn't become too soggy and break. Scoop in a few scoops of spaghetti with our meat sauce. Then we're going to sprinkle on a layer of Fiesta blend cheese or mozzarella. To a small bowl, add in 3 tablespoons of butter, 1 clove of minced garlic, and parsley to taste. I microwave that for 10 seconds to soften that up more. Then we're going to spread our butter mixture all over our bread. Lastly, we're going to top our boats with some dried basil and bake at 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes or until our cheese melts and our bread becomes toasted. After 10 minutes, our spaghetti bread boats are done and ready to enjoy. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I make my garlic butter shrimp pasta. We're going to bring a pot of salted water to a boil and add in a 16-ounce box of linguine. Boil 10 to 11 minutes, then we're going to strain our pasta and set aside. To the same pot, drop in and melt down 2 tablespoons of butter. Then we're going to saute 4 minced garlic cloves for 30 seconds or until fragrant. Once fragrant, drop in some large raw shrimp. Then we're going to season that with some salt, pepper, basil, and onion powder. Once seasoned, mix well, add in 2 cups of baby spinach. Then we're going to saute that for a couple of minutes or until wilted. Add and mix in our linguine. Then we're going to drop in half a stick of butter and toss to combine. We're then going to sprinkle in a half cup or so of Parmesan cheese and squeeze in the juice of half a lemon. Give that another toss to combine. And our garlic butter shrimp pasta is done and ready to enjoy. For dinner tonight, we're making this viral spaghetti I've seen all over TikTok. Let's get into this recipe. We're first going to get our water ready for our pasta. So to a pot set over high heat, let's pour in some water and bring that to a boil. While we wait for our water to boil, let's add in 1 pound of ground beef to a large pan set over medium-high heat and begin breaking it up. We're going to season our beef with salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, onion powder, and garlic powder. We'll also be adding in half a cup of diced onion and just allow everything to brown for 10 minutes after giving it a mix. Once you see our pot of water is at a boil, sprinkle in some salt and pour in a 16-ounce box of spaghetti. Allow that to boil for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, our beef should be browned, so let's go ahead and pour in a 24-ounce jar of pasta sauce. Then we can mix that in over medium-low heat and allow our sauce to heat through for about 5 minutes. To a medium saucepan set over medium-high heat, let's drop in and melt down half a stick of butter, and to that, stir in 3 minced garlic cloves. Once our butter is all nice and melted, let's pour in 2 cups of heavy cream and season our sauce with Italian seasoning, onion powder, and some black pepper. We're going to sprinkle in a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, allow that to melt down, and let our sauce simmer for 5 minutes or until it thickens up a bit. Let's drain our pasta and scoop it into a casserole dish. After scooping in our pasta, we're going to pour on our Alfredo sauce and give our pasta a good toss to combine. After coating our spaghetti with our sauce, let's scoop on our meat sauce. Then we're going to top our dish with mozzarella cheese, sprinkle on some fresh parsley, and bake our spaghetti at 415 for 20 minutes or until golden and bubbly. After 20 minutes, our spaghetti is ready to serve and enjoy. Today we're making a delicious chicken Caesar pasta salad with crispy bacon. The first thing we'll be doing is filling a pot with water and bringing that to a boil. While we wait for our water to come to a boil, we're going to drizzle some oil on 2 thin pieces of chicken and season with salt, paprika, thyme, onion powder, and garlic and herb seasoning. Thoroughly rub on those seasonings and season the other side as well. After coating both sides of our chicken, set them aside while we work on our bacon. To a hot pan, we're going to cook 3 slices of bacon for 7 minutes or until nice and crispy. At this point, our pot of water should be at a boil, so let's go ahead and salt our water and boil a 16-ounce box of rigatoni for 10 minutes. As soon as our bacon becomes nice and crispy, let's remove them to a plate with a paper towel and set them aside. To the same pan with that bacon grease, we're going to lay in our seasoned chicken and just allow them to cook for 6 minutes on each side or until fully cooked through. After cooking our chicken, just set them aside and we can begin assembling our salad. To a bowl, we're going to pour in a 9-ounce bag of romaine salad mix, 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, and a 5-ounce bag of croutons of your choice. I'll be using this cheese and garlic flavor. We're now going to crumble in our 3 slices of bacon, and I went ahead and put this all in a bigger bowl since we still got a few things to add. We're now going to shred and add in our chicken along with our cooked pasta. Then just squeeze in a 16-ounce bottle of creamy Caesar dressing and combine all of our ingredients well. Lastly, we're going to sprinkle and mix in some black pepper, and our chicken Caesar pasta salad is ready to serve and enjoy.